Hi Rashi, welcome to today's session. As part of this session, we would be starting with the BW related ABAP intro, and we'll also see a couple of small simple ABAP program. We'll also focus more on features of ABAP program and ABAP editor. Okay, so
Okay.
we'll see a particular program in detail. Then the attributes of that program. Maybe you as a normal BW consultant, you may not be knowing what exactly the different attribute which will come when you create a ABAP report. So unknowingly, in the process of learning the fundamentals, we are learning the classical ABAP reporting, which the core ABAPer will be doing. Okay,
Okay.
this will help you to even test any of the small logic or simple logic, so that you don't have to wait till the transformation to be present. You can get any logic and you can think about any logic just to see the rapid prototyping. You can just implement the logic in a sample program or SC38 executable program and you can start seeing. Okay, we'll see that in the process of learning. By the midway, you will be in a even a comfortable position of classical reporting also, but that is not the main agenda, but you will be unknowingly learning that. Okay,
Okay.
great. So before learning any programming language, obviously we have to focus on the features of that particular programming language and the editor, right? So coming to the features of ABAP programming language, the syntax of ABAP programming is or ABAP is similar to COBOL. Okay, so when SAP people started developing this ABAP programming language, they refer most of the syntax from COBOL during early 90s or late 80s. Okay,
Okay.
and ABAP is case sensitive during ABAP and ABAP statements and keywords are case insensitive. What does it means? Whether you write a code in uppercase or lowercase, it doesn't matter. Okay,
Yes.
both are treated as same just by having your local setting changed by a single button click. Either you can convert everything into uppercase or lowercase or SAP reserved keyword to uppercase, rest thing into lowercase. Okay, so similar to your BW object, even ABAP object has to start with YR set and it can be up to so and so character based on the object type which you are creating. Clear? It
Yeah.
can be function module, function group, program, or user exit. Everything has to falls under this namespace. The first character has to be either Y or Z. The custom objects.
But okay. Because it's but if we are looking at this one latest modules or I think with the BW for HANA, do we still create it with Y or Z?
Yes, those are the only thing which is open. But if at all your client, the current client where you are working, right, they can purchase or go with custom namespace also. It will start with
Okay.
slash with any character.
Okay.
Okay. And the next statement is ABAP is case sensitive during comparison. Mean to say, here whether you write a code in uppercase or lowercase, it doesn't matter. It is case insensitive. Whereas during the comparison, it is case sensitive. Means when you are trying to check a variable with some constant value, then if you are trying to compare uppercase US01 with uppercase US01, the condition check will be true. If you are checking lowercase with the uppercase, then it will be false. During the comparison,
False.
it will check also the case of the values. Okay.
Okay.
And every above statement or expression must end with a full stop or period. Like your C programming has to start with semicolon, Java has to end with semicolon. Similarly, the custom ABAP object or even the ABAP expression has to end with a semicolon. Whenever you come
Okay.
across semicolon, that will tell to the compiler that this is the end of current expression. Anything after semicolon, sorry, the full stop will be treated as next expression. Clear?
Yep.
And token within a statement must be separated by at least one space. What does it mean? When you write a select single star or when you declare a data type variable or anything, when you between two words there has to be at least one space. So the system will understand. Okay.
Okay.
And coming to the features of ABAP editor, the ABAP editor is similar to Notepad. Means all the shortcuts, whatever you use in Notepad or WordPad, you can use the same. Control C for copy, Control V for paste, Control X for cut, and Control S for save. Okay. And similarly, you can use shortcut of your BW RSA1, right? Like pencil symbol to toggle between display mode or change mode, or you can use Control plus F1.
Okay.
or control plus F2 to syntax check, or control plus F3 to activate the program or object. Clear? Any doubts so far, Rishi or
No,
Ashish?
it's all perfect. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, use control. There is something called comments, okay? Like comments are something like it is there in every programming language. It is just that we are going to add more metadata. Like if I am writing a business logic, if somebody comes and see that, we can write things logic in a plain English so that people can understand what is happening, what why exactly we are doing those things. Okay, but those are not like ABAP code. Those are just a metadata which is skipped by the compiler during the compilation process. Okay. So
The
those are,
comments you're talking about,
yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
And in order to create a comment, either you can use shortcut control plus less than, control plus greater than to uncomment it. Okay.
So if I'm using control plus less, then will it be adding star, or I think
It will
there's
be adding
another.
star. It will be adding star at the start of very first character of your the particular line where the cursor is present. Then the entire line will be treated as a comment. But if you
Okay,
want to add a comment at the end of some syntax, you have to put double quotes.
double quotes.
Okay, we'll be seeing that when we go to the program. And these are the features of ABAP program and ABAP editor. The features remain same because this is my blog which I created, you see, around 2013 or so. But yeah, still that is valid. But here it is more focused on core ABAP because that time I was a core ABAPer and I didn't update much of the
So this is
content.
your website?
Yeah, yeah, this is my blog, oneabap.blogspot.com. You find
Oh.
more of the core ABAP related stuff than BW ABAP because there are some, but most of the things are way back. I didn't update this blog.
Hmm.
Okay, great. Then coming back, let us see how can we create a simple ABAP program. Okay, we will understand
Okay.
how to create a ABAP program, how to print something to the user, and we will start seeing multiple use cases. Okay. You will be getting an access to something like this, the remote server, wherein you don't have to install anything. Everything will be there.
From where do you get this access? Because earlier, for practice, I used to get access from something called SAP WITS.
There are many vendors actually, like
Yeah.
I am
And
taking from someone, like I generally won't remember the name. I will just ping them. They will create a access, and generally
okay.
I wanted them to create users with my name, so that generally what happens if they create ANA user 123, they can share it with multiple people, right? That's the
Yeah.
reason this one I believe Venu underscore 09 I believe. So I insist them to create with something which the username which I give them.
Oh, okay.
So that even they should not misuse also, like share the same credential to multiple people. Generic
That's
means
true.
they can do that. That's the reason. Okay, so now, okay, I'm going to RS7. SC38 is a transaction code where you will be creating an, it's a T code for
Mhm.
ABAP editor. Most of the ABAP consultant will spend their time in building their ABAP report, like how we create our BIX report, right? Like that, they will be creating ABAP reports. So,
SC38.
yeah, SC38. Now, ZVenu underscore URRASH, right? One. Give the program name. If the program already existed, means it would have shown in the search help or value help. Now click on
Mhm.
create. Okay. Since it's your very first program, let us understand everything in detail. In this pop-up window, title and under attribute type are mandatory, rest are optional. Okay. Title and type, attribute type is mandatory, rest are optional. So under types, you have different types of ABAP program or object can be created from SC38. You will be focusing on executable. In the upcoming session, we will be seeing include program, and sometimes later we will be seeing function group. Rest are out of scope for us. Either that will be used by core ABAPer or PI ABAPer or even HR ABAPers. Okay.
Okay.
So
So
now,
generally, we create executable or
as a BW consultant, you won't be even creating executable because we wanted to
okay.
learn ABAP from the scratch, right? That's the reason we are
Yeah,
going
yeah.
with this approach. So why executable program? Because these are independent objects. You don't depend on anything else. You write a logic and execute it, and you have some syntax to print the content of a value, variable, or a table. You can do that. Whereas if you go with
Oh,
the include program, that has to get associated with executable program only. So there will be a
oh,
dependency. That's the reason for learning all the basics. We will be following this approach. Okay. And coming to status, as I said, all other are optional. Status, you can choose any of these. It is just adding more value to your program. If it is a test program, choose as a test program. If you are going to move to production, you can choose as customer production program. But choosing any of this value will not impact the functionality. Okay.
okay.
And
So,
application,
what is the SAP? If it's SAP program, then we choose SAP.
they will set it. We cannot, we can set
Okay.
it, but ideally, if it is SAP program, they have to set it, correct? They have given an option, but ideally, SAP
So,
delivered
ideally, we only
programs, SAP delivered standard program, they will set it with this.
oh, okay.
But
So, ideally, we only choose from two options, right?
you
Customer
can
or
keep
test.
blank also, you can keep blanks. There is no,
Okay.
all are optional. As I said, all others are optional.
Okay. Okay.
Even application is optional, but if you want to maintain, if the program is related to business warehouse, you can keep it. Or if the core app is working on it, if it is working related to HR, they will choose that. Or accounting, they will choose the respective area. Okay. And
Oh,
authorization group, you know SAP security, right? If there is a authorization group given, you can maintain it. Like if I do the F4, all the existing authorization group will appear. Just have to enter it. Generally, we won't use this option again. So, if you maintain any authorization group, only the people who are having access to that authorization group can execute this program. Logical
okay.
database will be used by HR ABAPer, which is of no use for us. And even core ABAPer also will not use this, only HR ABAPers will use it. Selection screen, if there is any selection screen of this particular ABAP program, then it will generate a screen number automatically. Okay.
What does that mean? Sorry, I didn't understood
Your
it.
big selection screens are there, right? Like that, even core
Hmm.
ABAPer can create a selection screen dynamically. In that case, system will generate one random number.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. And editor log by default, it is not checked. Okay. Ideally, it is recommended not to check this checkbox. If I check this, nobody else apart from this user or my user ID can edit this program.
Hmm.
So, if somebody has to do the changes, then they have to go to attribute and remove this checkbox. Then only it will let them to do the changes apart from this guy.
Okay.
And fixed part arithmetic, it is checked by default, correct? Mean to say, it is going to add some library in the backend related for arithmetic and logical operation.
Okay.
And Unicode check active, it is by default what checked. So, you might have heard about Unicode during your bachelor's, right? Unicode or ANSI standards, ANSI C.
Yes.
So, ANSI standards are like it supports only 128 characters, 7 byte, like A to Z capital, lowercase a to Z, 1 to 0, 1 to 9 followed by 0, some special character like at the rate, a dollar, underscore, all those things, equal to, plus, minus, and all. It is a limited data set. Means ANSI standards are used to represent any those character digitally, which a computer can understand. So, with the digitalization or the development across the world, more and more script came like Kannada, Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, Marathi, Japanese, Chinese, or even French. They have their own character, right? They wanted to represent that in digitally, so that every digital appliance in the world can understand that. For that, there is a new standard comes into picture, that is called Unicode. Okay. So, using Unicode, you can represent any character digitally, which is recognized, and every single character will have associated Unicode. So, already your mobile phones are equipped with Unicode. That's the reason if somebody sends a message in a regional language, your phone will interpret that and encode it or decode it. Okay.
Okay.
That's the reason SAP earlier, or SAP was, if you remember, maybe you might have started using phone by that time already everything was might have been Unicode. But if somebody is, you are basically from Andhra Pradesh or which place?
No, no, no. I'm from Punjab.
Okay, Punjab, right? So maybe if somebody is sending message in Hindi,
Mm-hmm.
earlier older phones were not able to interpret that. It used to show as box, 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 some character.
Yes.
So that is because those phones were not enabled with Unicode or installed with Unicode. Though it was Unicode, corresponding to Hindi Unicode was not might have been updated. That's the reason it was
Updated.
not able to show. Earlier SAP system also was not Unicode compatible, means it was ANSI, not many languages are supported. Now with the SAP BW 7.x version or ECC 6.0 onwards, it supports something called translation. Okay, that's the
Okay.
reason this checkbox was given. During that upgrade, if you have 10,000 program, for all those 10,000 programs, you have to literally go and enable this checkbox.
Oh,
So that's the reason even in the later version also by default this checkbox is there, and by default they have enabled this. And you can ask why they have not, they might have created some note or something to upgrade everything by enabling this checkbox, correct? So that all those 10,000 program might have been upgraded. They didn't done purposefully because you might have some 1 lakh program, out of which only 2000 program might be the actual usable program in production. All others might be junk, correct? With that you will be able to filter out the junk program also. That's the reason they have given explicit checkbox. And when I created a program, by default it was enabled, correct? So if
yeah.
you remove this checkbox, it will throw an error. Unicode check
Um,
box is not enabled. Like start using variant. If you have a selection screen, or if the core ABAP program is having a selection screen, and if you have some variant set as a default, it will run using that variant selection, default variant selection. Okay.
okay.
So any doubts so far? Main mandatory things are title and types. All other things are optional. You don't have to worry. Since it is your first program, we had to be aware of that. That's the reason we are seeing this.
But even if we are working on a client project, is it okay? Matlab, it doesn't make any difference if we leave status and application blank?
Everything you can leave blank. There is nothing no problem in it. These are just adding a more information, because if you
Okay.
are creating some test program, you can create as a enable this as a test program, so that in future it will let you to filter. There are some SAP standard report which will let you to list only the program which is set as test program, so that you will get to
Oh,
know the dummy programs which is created. You can omit that during the technical upgrade, or you can ask basis team to do the mass deletion and all. Got it?
okay, okay,
That's the
okay.
reason. Apart from that, it won't change any functionality.
Okay, okay, okay. Then it's fine.
Click on save. When you click on save, it will take you to the next screen wherein you have to enter the package. You know the package, right? BWI will
Yeah,
have its own package. If you want to save under a specific package, you have to save it. Once you save under a package, it will prompt you to capture under a transport.
transport. Yeah.
So now I am going with a local object. That's it. When you do that, it has took you to next screen. In the next screen, you can see by default, it has added report followed by your program name. Since we chosen our program type as executable program, report as added by default, means to say it is a report, ABAP report. Okay. So now, similar to any programming language, what would be the first program which you will be creating? Hello world program or printing some message to user, correct?
Yeah.
In case of ABAP, we have a command called write command, using which you can print a message to the user or output.
Okay.
You see, I ended with a full stop. It is mandatory. Without that, it will throw an error. See, syntax check is
Yeah.
fine. In order to activate, you have to use the activate button. In order to check the syntax, same button as our RSA1. To execute, you have to click on this button F8. So it is printing will come to SAP BI ABAP. Clear?
Okay. Yes.
Write command is used for what? To print something. In that too,
Print.
you can use this only in ABAP report, nowhere else. Nowhere in our BW objects such as routines or transformations or even your generic extractor based on function module. Write is allowed only in SC38 report program. That's it. Okay.
Okay.
Great. Now let us try to.
Why have we added? I understand colon, but why have we added that slash?
We will see that. So in the future, slash is used for printing the content in next line. Okay.
Oh,
These are just a formatting options which core ABAPer will learn and excel. And nowadays they won't use classical. Classical reporting was the very old reporting approach people were following. Now there is something called ALV reporting. Okay.
okay.
So good question. Maybe I will add one more write command. Okay. Mm, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can activate this. What will be the output? Welcome to SAP BW ABAP Rashi. But
Hmm.
this I have written in a next line. Though I have
Yeah.
written in a next line, it is not printing in a next line because I'm not telling this has printed started printing in the next line, but after that I'm just printing the content. I'm not telling the systems print this in a next line. If you put
Okay.
slash and activate now, then it will print in the next line. Okay.
Okay.
There's the importance of colon also, which we'll be learning in a while. Wherever you
Hmm.
use colon, whatever the logic which we will be learning, that will be applicable. Now let us try to understand how to declare a variable. What is a variable? Variable is something which is going to hold something, correct? Like your glass. Glass can hold even juice, wine, or even it can hold water, anything, correct? It's a container. So
Yeah.
you can correlate your the variable as a container, and it can hold different types of data. Balloon is also container which is going to hold what? Air. Glass is a container which can hold either solid, liquid, or even the powder form. Like that, a variable can be of different types, like your info object, correct?
Hmm.
So now there are different types of data types, or a container can hold different types of data. What type of data? We'll be defining the reference type. What I am doing, I am declaring a variable which is called lv underscore message, which is of type what? String, which is going to
String.
store the string of data. Now what I will do, I am going to initialize. When I declare, nothing will be there inside it. Okay.
Hmm.
What I am doing now, I have initialized my variable with welcome to SAP BW ABAP. Since it is a string, I am enclosing with a single quote. Now using a write command, I can print a value stored in a variable.
Hmm.
Write command can be used to print a hard-coded value. Also, it can be used to print a value stored in a variable. Let us check the syntax. There is an issue.
Yeah. String spelling.
String. Yeah, clear. And if I
Hmm.
miss full stop, you see next line it is showing red by default. You can
Yes.
also check the syntax. What it says at line number 5, there's a period missing. Full stop is missing.
Also, it gives all the details.
Yes, most probably it will point to the matching line or at least one line above or below.
Okay.
So now, so it is same as previous version of the program, but now we are creating a variable and we have initialized the variable and we are printing the content of that variable. Clear?
Yeah.
Any doubts in this, Rashi?
No, not so far.
Great. So, see, these are independent executable program. You can write your logic and you can make use of write command to see the output. You don't have to wait till entire your BW ETL flow created. Assume that you are supposed to implement some logic in a field level routine or in routine or expert routine. You can implement that logic, simple logic here, and use a write command, pass something as an input, and implement your logic and use write command to print something as an output. You will get to know whether your logic is working as expected or not. You don't have to wait
Yep.
till that entire set of development to complete. Then what you can do, you can just copy paste the code from here to there because you have already done the unit testing.
Yes.
Clear? Like that, when you talk as an ABAP, right, like your BW info object, here also there are different types of objects like data types such as string, integer, character, date, amount, and all. Like our when I try to create an info object, right, we can specify whether it's an integer, character, date, and all, right, or numc. The same thing also supports in ABAP. Clear?
Okay.
Just a second, Rashi. So like that, even ABAP also support different types of objects. We'll be seeing each and every data types in detail.
So for if we have time variable, then also we will use data type, or do we have?
For that, you have time. See, ultimately, all those attributes are derived attribute, right? Even if you take
Hmm.
time also in BW, it's a character of 6 character, correct?
Yes.
So if it is a date also, it's of character 8.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
any data types are derived attribute of basic types such as string, character, or integer. Okay.
Okay.
Good question. You can ask me any doubt, not an issue. Coming to arithmetic operators, like in any programming language, there will be different operator to perform different operation, correct? That's the
Hmm.
reason we call it as operator. There is something called arithmetic operator which we will be using to perform what? Arithmetic operation, right? Such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So whenever you have a requirement to add something or subtract something, multiply unit price into the quantity to get a net price, you will use multiplication. You might have some requirement to find out a division, like a result of division, or you wanted to find out a remainder. For that we will be using plus, minus, star, forward slash and mod operator for finding out the remainder. Clear? And the syntax for the same is left hand side is equal to right hand side, like your mathematics. Like result variable is equal to the content of variable 1 operator variable 2, or it can be constant also. Okay.
Okay.
Like in this case, if you see an example, LV result is one of the variable. The value of
Mm-hmm.
this will be set by the right hand side expression. The content of variable 1 is multiplied with content of variable 2. As
Yeah.
simple as that. The result is storing in LV result. So now let us create a second program. Arithmetic operation. So if you see over here, again I am using data LV underscore num1 type I for integer. Okay.
Mm.
Num2 sum prod div and remainder. Okay.
Yeah.
So LV num1 is equal to, maybe you can take as 105. LV num2 is equal to 50 or any number. So sum of 105 and 150, if you have a requirement to calculate, then LV sum is equal to LV num1
No.
plus LV num2. Got it?
Mm.
Similarly, if you want to find out the product, LV prod is equal to LV num1 star LV num2.
Two.
Similarly, if you want to find out the result of division operation, num1 forward slash num2. Mean to say 105 will be divided by 50, and what
Yeah.
would be the result of these 2? I can
Mm.
divide 105 by 52 times, correct? But if you
Yeah.
want to find out the remainder, it is 5.
Yeah.
REM remainder, it would be mod LV num2. Clear? Check the syntax. We are good with the syntax, right? There is no syntax error. Now you can use write command. See, actual logic which you will be writing in your BW will be this.
Mm.
But since we are learning, we are just wanted to see what has been populated after this expression execution, correct? So that's the reason we will make use of write command. Clear? I am using sum, comma,
Mm.
what it will print? It will print a hard coded value followed by value stored in
That's
this variable. Clear? Any doubts in this?
no.
So you can just activate this and execute it. It is showing 155.
Why is it giving so much space? Because we have given.
Prod, prod division, reminder. What exactly is this, Rashi? Can you come again?
So, yeah, yeah. I was saying when you executed it,
Okay.
so after sum and after colon, it was giving a lot of space before giving the value output.
Here, right?
Yeah.
So obviously integer means it will have, based on the operating system or the compiler what we are using, it will be having a specific length, correct? That's the
Hmm.
reason it will give that space and print it.
Okay.
And in BW and all this, you don't have to worry. Like this will comes in the formatting of classical ABAP reports.
Yes.
Okay. So it is printing a value. If you see the output, the product is 5250 and division is 2 and remainder is 5. Clear?
Yeah.
Any doubts in this?
No, not so far.
So That's all about arithmetic operator. Whenever you wanted to do this arithmetic operation, we will be using this arithmetic operator. Similarly, we have something called conditional operator, which we will be using to do the or perform the conditional check operation, such as equality check. If you want to check a value stored in a variable is equal to another constant or another value stored in another variable, you can go with EQ or equal to symbol. To check the not equality, you will use NE or not equal to symbol. For checking the greater than, either you will use GT or greater than symbol. In order to check greater than or equal to, either you can use GE or greater than or equal to symbol. Similarly, we will be using less than to check LT or less than symbol, or if you want to have, if there is a requirement to check whether a value is greater than or less than or equal to 2000, you can use in that case less than or equal to symbol. Clear? We'll be seeing how to make use of this when we go to the conditional check operation. This is for
Okay.
say FIA. Okay. Similarly, similar to conditional operator, you do have another set of operator called logical operator. You might have seen the logical operation during what was your branch in your engineering?
Electronics. Yeah, I've done this and or
So
not.
AND gate, OR gate, NOT gate, all those things will be there, right? Same operation. What would be the, like, if the input is false, output will be true. If the output is false, like if the input is false, output will be true, or the other way, correct? NOT gate, it will negate. AND gate, we will be using AND gate. What output of the AND gate is true or high only when both the inputs are high, correct, or true. So generally, like if you have two conditions to be checked and you wanted to execute or apply some logic only when both the conditions are satisfied. For example, I am going to join a company only if my date of joining is after 60 days and also my package is greater than 20 lakhs. You have two
Hmm.
conditions and you want both the condition to be met.
Yeah, then
Date of
and.
joining has to be greater than 60 days and the package should be greater than 20. In that
Hmm.
case, if you want to achieve that programmatically we will be using AND operation or AND logical operator. Or else, if my package is greater than 20, or else if my package, or else if the package including the share purchase plan is greater than 25, then I will be joining. Here you are giving a two option. Either give me this or that. If one of these are satisfied, I am going to join your company or I am going to perform something. Got it?
Yes.
So in that case, we will be using OR operator. Like this logical operator we will be using in conjunction with conditional operator. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any doubts so far, Rashi?
No, no, no. It's all good.
So great. Maybe we'll see one more example and we'll conclude the session at this point.
Would you be able to send me the documents so that I can refer them?
There won't be any need of document for you. You will be trained to that level and there won't be any compiled version of the document for sure. That's the reason you see my slide will have only the topic. It won't have
Hmm.
any
Yeah.
detailed like text or anything because it is not really required because you will be trained to the level where if you don't have any reference document or anything, you should be in a position to reproduce. You will be to that level. Okay.
Okay. Hmm.
Understand first a few set of the basic example what we will be discussing. With that you will be good. Like
Okay.
we will be just reusing that syntax and you don't have to worry that if we see a particular topic, it is not that it is done. All the topics what we are covering, it will be keep repeating till our last session.
Okay.
So assume that you have a data like a data lv underscore name type.
So to define variable, we always have data statement.
You have to use data, yes, to declare
Okay.
variable, internal table, work area, everything. lv underscore name is equal to Venugopal M N. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Raw data. I'm just printing raw data, whatever was the input. Okay. lv
Yeah.
underscore name. So what it will print? It will print Venugopal M Nanjappa in a mixed case, correct? But now I wanted to go convert this into uppercase. In your info object level, you will have a requirement, right? If the info object is not lowercase enabled, but if you have to convert into uppercase by implementing a routine, all you have to do is there's a command called translate. What you want to translate? I wanted to translate value stored in this variable to uppercase. Clear? What this is going to do, this translate command is going to convert the content stored in this variable to uppercase. All you have to do is in your routine, you just have to implement this logic. In order to learn, we are using additional write command and all. See, raw data was something like this. When we executed upper translate statement, it converted into everything to upper. Clear?
Yeah.
But if you want to convert everything into lower, if there is a need, there could be a need also, right?
Mm.
So to lower.
Okay.
Again, upon execution of this statement, content stored in this variable will be converted into lowercase.
And I can define info objects to the variable, right?
No, no, no.
No?
Info object to the variable, yes, you can do that. Like when you declare a variable in BW system, obviously your
Mm.
info object is also associated with a data type. You can use that data element. If you go to RSD1, here we are
Mm.
using string and all, right? Instead of string, these are primitive data types. You can also use data element or table name hyphen field name and all. You can use it. We will be learning that in the coming classes. Okay.
No, no, no. In the value of that variable, I was just asking here. You mentioned gave your name, right? So it is a constant value.
It is a
If I
constant
want,
value. In our case, actually, it will be coming in a variable. This is for
yes,
the learning purpose we are assigning, but in our logic, this variable would have been already populated based on your mapping in the transformation or some other logic. So all we have to do, we have to implement this logic. No other logic is just we are implementing here to learn. Assume
okay.
that
Can
you are
I?
loading a data from source to target, okay?
Hmm.
And you are implementing a field level routine. When exactly the field level routine get executed? Every single record which you are loading from source to target, for every record, the routine will get executed, correct?
Executed.
Assume
Yes.
that you are mapping the description, short text to short text, 0 shrtTXT info object from the
Hmm.
source to target. And
Yeah.
now you have to convert that into uppercase. All you have to do is go and implement a field level routine. In the field level routine, you will have a variable. By default, whatever is coming from the source, that will be coming in that variable. All you have to
Variable.
do is this, implement this single line of code. It will work. Everything, for every line coming from source to target, it will convert into uppercase.
Okay. So if I have a field, let's say if I have a source field as name one, so I can just write translate name one to uppercase.
That's it. Yes.
Okay.
So rest, in order to understand the things we are using, main thing is you will never and
Hmm.
ever use a write command anywhere.
Yeah.
This is just for your visualization purpose, just to ensure whatever you are implementing, we can easily correlate, right? Now you can
Yeah.
just come to SC38 and implement this kind of small program and implement your business logic. At the end, try to print the content at the end of that execution of the overall syntax. Then you will get to know whether it will give a proper result or not.
Yeah, that's true.
So like this, we'll start learning couple of more example, like assume that you have a incoming date field. From the date field, it might be there in your data source. From data source, you might be loading data to DSO. How to derive the value of year, month, day, or cal month or period from your date, which is a single field of your data source.
Okay.
We'll see how to remove multiple spaces, how to remove all spaces, how to concatenate different value, split different value, all those things in a next session. Okay.
Okay.
Any other doubts with respect to whatever we have covered so far, Rashi?
No, no, no. It's all good so far.
Great. So that's all for today. That's all for today. Thank you so much and have a good one. If you are looking for online training on SAP ABAP, BW ABAP, BW Anana, Native ANA and HANA SQL, feel free to reach out to me on my mail ID, that is VENUGOPAL M N 1988 at the rate gmail.com. You can also call me on my mobile number, that is +91 followed by 97399839992. Thank you so much and have a good one, guys.